It is September 29th. Top 1 and Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com, presented by Mungenast, St. Louis Acura, and Royal Banks of Missouri. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey. And Rammer, before we get started with all of the Cardinal talk, I'm sure you, as much as I would like to wish congratulations to our friend Mike Claiborne, as it was officially announced today that he is going in to the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah, my best pal has earned it with really an unbelievable career. Started out at KMOX, and then 35 years later back at KMOX doing Cardinal games, a job that every young St. Louis sportscaster aspires to, and all the other things he's done, all the people Mike has influenced. As I said, I may be biased, or you could accuse me of bias because he's my best friend, but I'm a trained journalist, and objectivity is a hallmark of who I am. He's earned it. He's the best, and I'm very, very excited for him, and I'm excited for me because I love seeing good things happen to the people I love. And in addition, this year, Jack Watkins from the Missouri Valley Conference, Larry Hughes from St. Louis U. I will be in attendance. This is going to be like a gathering of friends and family for me.
I saw Steve Savard also going in as well.
Oh, Steve Savard. How about that? Yeah.
Yeah. I missed his name there, but I saw him tweeting back to people congratulating him as well. So a huge class that Rammer, I have no doubt that you, alongside with your broadcast partner Earl Austin Jr., will one day
Earl's
be
already in, isn't he?
For the he's not. I just looked up his name. I have not seen it in there.
I thought Earl was in. Yeah, he needs to be in. No one,
unless I'm just missing it here. I did not see it in there. And if he is, I greatly apologize for missing it.
No one in the history of St. Louis media, and maybe even because there's some people like Mr. Matthews and Matthews Dickey and a few others. So I won't say that, but I will say unequivocally, no one in the history of St. Louis media has done more for amateur sports and amateur athletics and the student athletes. No one. He is number one, period. No one's close.
We will we'll hear plenty from Earl and yourself as the SLU Billikens start up in about a month or so, 6 weeks from now, I believe.
The first exhibition. Well, the first exhibition games are in a month. Less than a month.
Hey, we got plenty of Cardinals stuff to talk about until then, because Rammer, the Cardinals, they clinched the wild card, the second wild card, which means a week from today, they will be playing a baseball game somewhere in California. That we don't know north, south, we're not sure. We know the Cardinals will be in California with Adam Wainwright on the mound next Wednesday as they clinched with 5 games left in the season, giving them plenty of time to rest players, which we will get you those lineups here in just a bit.
I go out there? Should I go out there with you?
You know what? Hey, come on out. I'm going out there. That's my plan as of right now, is to go out there to cover that game next week, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
I've stroked Claibs so much, maybe Claibs Online can pay for the plane ticket.
Rammer, 5 games left to go in the season. The Cardinals can really rest up, which helps them because they have Yadi's shoulder and Edmundo Sosa's wrist that need to be tended to, and you're going to have a lot of fresh arms from a bullpen that has just, God, they have pitched so well. I saw somebody tweet it last night, just the job that Mike Shildt did, and we've talked about this, that he begged for help out of that bullpen and got kind of the bare minimum. I mean, with all due respect to TJ McFarland and Luis Garcia, they got leftovers from teams. They got players that other teams didn't want, and Mike Shildt and Mike Maddox, they made it work.
Well, we can say that, and I know that there is a segment of Cardinal Nation that is loath to ever give Mo and Gersh any credit. And our friend, the late Joe Strauss, called it low-hanging fruit. But if you know which one to pick, if you pick that low-hanging apple that doesn't have a worm in it, it might taste pretty sweet. And you mentioned the two bullpen guys, at least two, and then you also mentioned Lester and Happ. So if we're going to discredit, and we're all quick to discredit the front office when things don't go the way we like, to be fair and balanced, I think that it is important to give them credit for the analytics that paid off. And another guy watching postseason or postgame last night after the Cardinals clinched, multiple players and Mike Schilt commented, and you and I that I recall didn't really talk about it as it was happening, but credited Wade LeBlanc for sort of starting the pitching turnaround. And I went back and looked, and in the moment you go, not that impressive. But what I saw, if you've got a ship that's listing, you can't just give it full power. It's going to flip on you. You got to right the ship before you can go full speed ahead, correct? And I think that's what they're saying about Wade LeBlanc. He sort of got it out of that listing position, kind of gave him some innings every fifth day for a couple of weeks. Then Lester and Happ got going. The bullpen straightened out. And then by the end of August, LeBlanc was hurt, but the ship could go full blast. So I thought it was interesting that more than one Cardinal gave him a ton of credit.
I missed that in some of the post-game interviews I was a part of last night, down there on the field talking to some of the guys afterwards. I remember back to when we were talking about Wade LeBlanc, when he was that first castaway that Mo brought in.
Yeah.
And there were real issues with the starting rotation. And you and I went back and forth a few times on whether or not Wade LeBlanc should be a starting pitcher in this rotation. And I think I got to the point where it was, why not? That it wasn't, I wasn't sitting here pounding the table saying that he was going to be Cy Young. It was to a point where it was, you just threw your hands up in the air and said, you know what? Nobody else is working. Why not Wade LeBlanc? Why not give him a start and see what can happen? And he kept the team in it through. He kept them in there through July.
Yeah, and so everybody's been kind of asking the question and searching, what's the tipping point? There wasn't one, but if you look for the first thing that maybe, like I said, got that listing ship back upright, might have been LeBlanc and getting it going.
I did appreciate yesterday talking with Dylan Carlson. Right now he's the team's number 5 hitter going into the postseason. He's going to be in that spot next week when the lineup, I think, officially gets back to normal. I don't think we're going to see a normal lineup the rest of the season.
No,
but I
maybe
mentioned
a little bit, maybe Sunday for 2 or 3 at bats, maybe.
Yeah, and I mentioned something to him about his spot in the lineup, his role on this team, because remember when they went in the postseason play last year, he was the cleanup hitter. He was the protection for Paul Goldschmidt hitting third in that lineup. And the grin, and I wish I would have gotten him on video. It was all audio for him. I wish I would have gotten the grin that he had, because you can tell he really likes the spot that he's in, hitting after Goldschmidt, after O'Neill, after Arenado, knowing what pitchers probably have to go through facing those 3 guys. And you see, I mean, the way he has been hitting this during the 17-game run, he is reaping the benefits of just the absolute pounding those 3 in front of him are giving to pitchers.
Yeah, and now Bader slides up behind him when they're both in there. If Yachty's out, and it's really been remarkable when you see how this lineup has evolved. Can you get past Wednesday? And then there's no reason to expect. Now, I don't expect this team to score 6 runs a game all the way through October. Again, assumption you get through Wednesday, but a lineup that has the kind of confidence that will find ways to either hit bombs or keep the line moving with base hits, steal a base, bunt a runner over, squeeze a runner home. This is a team that I'm confident if they can get past Wednesday, will find ways to score runs.
By the way, they're gonna knock Scherzer out in the second inning next Wednesday. So I want that to be on record right now. I know I've tweeted it enough to when it happens, we can look back on it, and I can remain the optimist here of this show day in and day out, that the broadcasters are going to be there on the national call and just wondering how the hell the Cardinals are doing what they're going to do against Scherzer next week. So it's going to happen. That's what we're going to see in that game. For tonight, though, lots of news and notes for the game tonight. We are going to start, though, on the Brewers side of things, because as we were getting ready to talk to the manager, Mike Schilt, we saw that the Brewers already held their media session and found out that Hazelwood product Devin Williams fractured his hand punching a wall in celebration on Sunday, admitting that he had a few too many and punched a wall, breaking his right hand, requiring surgery. He is out for the remainder of the season, which means the Brewers now have their bridge is broken to end the game, and that's their strong suit.
It's really a shame for a guy getting an opportunity to play on a great team and with as good a chance as anybody to make a run in October. And even if things go well in surgery like that, 6 weeks is probably a bare minimum, and it'll be over by then. So I really feel for the kid.
It's just unbelievable, and you think of some of the past times this has happened. He's not the first one. He's not the first athlete. He's not to injure himself doing something that they shouldn't have been doing. He just joins that long list of guys that you look at. And I'm trying to think, missed a playoff run, somebody that had done that. I can't think of one that was doing it celebrating. Like, I'm thinking one that comes to mind is Carlos Quentin. Back about 15, 20 years ago with the White Sox, when they were good, punched I can't remember if he punched his bat or what, but broke his hand when he was in the middle of an MVP run and knocked him out of the postseason. But he was frustrated for that. I can't remember a celebration where that happened.
One of our viewers, somebody good, jumped up in a celebration like a bat, arm bash, jumped up with a guy, came down and blew out his knee. God, I can't remember who that was.
Martin Gramatica? You're talking football?
I'm not talking football. No. Somebody will remember who it was.
Yeah, it's so they will be without him. They'll have to figure it out as they go along. But here is what the Cardinals. Here's what the Cardinals are going to go out with tonight. This is their day after clinching starting lineup. Leading off and playing left field, I think this guy was having the time of his life yesterday after the clinch. Lars Nootbaar is in left. Paul Goldschmidt is back at first. Dylan Carlson in right. Matt Carpenter at third. Harrison Bader in center. Paul DeJong at short. Jose Rondon at second. Andrew Kisner is behind the plate, and Miles Michaelis is on the mound for the Cardinals. Mike Schilt did say that you're going to see Jose Rondon move around the infield a lot over the next 5 days, and you're probably going to see Matt Carpenter go back and forth between third and first.
I'm not going to point any fingers, but just as a curiosity, what it used to be, because I know you're clean and sober now, what was your hangover go-to?
What I would do afterwards?
To deal with a hangover in the morning.
It was usually greasy burgers. Greasy burgers. Rallies or Hardee's was usually my go-to.
Yeah, mine would be like huevos rancheros with some extra hot sauce on there. Got enough grease with the eggs and get it fired up. And yeah, I'm with you. So
Lars ate a lot of that today.
Am I making a direct correlation with Nootbaar and the Cardinals? Hey, interpret as you wish.
You know what? Hey, he's 24, and this is probably the first time he's had a celebration like that. Live it up. And I think a lot of the players were enjoying just kind of watching him enjoy himself.
Maybe, I don't necessarily believe it, but I know a lot of folks believe in hair of the dog. Maybe when he walked in, the clubbies had a Bloody Mary for him.
Hey, if we were allowed in the clubhouse maybe we would know that, but we are not. I do
No.
want to say this little I thought this didn't even strike me. So the Cardinals do have two rookie writers on the beat this year, in Katie Wu from The Athletic and Zach Silver, who's writing for MLB.com. And as we were walking from the media dining center last night to get onto the field and past the doors to the clubhouse, they asked, "Oh, where does that lead?" And
Yeah,
quite a few of us were like, "Oh, you've never been in there." Like, that's to realize that. Yeah,
and here's the thing.
So
that's not an inside baseball thing, although it could be construed as that. Here's the deal. When good writers like they are, good media types like you are, when you can get in and have one-on-one conversations with people, it doesn't even have to be an actual official interview. When you have that clubhouse access, when you're down on the field with them, when you're sitting in the dugout next to a player or a coach or a GM, that's the kind of background information, or sometimes even hard news tidbits that you can be, where you can be a really productive conduit to the fans. I know the fans go, "Oh, the media's always whining," but that's how the media gets information to the fans. And COVID pulling the media away has absolutely been a detriment to getting the best info and color analysis to the fans. So it's gradually changing, and I hope by next year it's wide open, because the members of the media who work at it every single day, they really need that to do their job at its peak.
Yeah, they in the media relations, they did do a good job yesterday, allowing media onto the field yesterday to allow for that after players celebrated with their families. We were able to kind of pull here, getting scrums here and there, and talk to people yesterday. So that was very nice, and hopefully there are many, many more of those to come over the next 5 weeks of the calendar. So that's what we have. By the way, Christian Yelich in the lineup tonight for the Brewers. I'm surprised that this is back-to-back games that Christian Yelich is in the lineup playing left field. So we we'll keep monitoring what's going on with his arm, because after tomorrow afternoon, the Cardinals, well, they'll either see the Brewers in 2022 or see them in the NLCS. So this chapter of the Brewers and Cardinals rivalry might not be done just yet. Rammer, before we get out of here, quickly, a word from Royal Banks.
Yeah, Royal Banks helping St. Louis one neighborhood at a time as they continue to expand little by little, but they're making quite a footprint in the metro area, including 2 newer branches. I guess they're about a year, 18 months old. And with COVID, maybe you haven't been out and about, but in Jerseyville and in Granite City, 2 Royal Banks of Missouri branches that are there for you, providing the same service and services that you get on the Missouri side of the river. Give them a call, 314-212-1500, or go online to royalbanksofmo.com. Royal Banks of Missouri will help you achieve your financial goals. Royal Banks, where better service means better banking, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
I think we've transitioned from hats now to Cardinals apparel overall. I know you threw that jersey on, a little spring training jersey. This
actually was my fantasy camp jersey. This is a jersey I wore in fantasy camp. And if you can afford it, not everybody can, but I would tell anybody who can afford it, it is something you don't want to miss. You'll never forget it. It's the most fun you've ever had if you're a baseball fan.
I've heard that, and I have heard some of the stories from there that you and some of the guys that you get to play with and play against, which brings me, by the way, to the first pitch yesterday. Rick Ankiel threw out the first pitch of the game yesterday, and
wipeout. I don't know if that was his curve or slide. It looked like the curve, and it was a wipeout. I mean, a left-handed hitter had no chance.
John Hewlett about ducked and ran back behind the netting there, thinking it was coming at him. Now imagine when he was on his A game throwing that 21 years ago, how just impossible that had to be to hit.
He was so good. And Well, when you look at what he did as a position player and as a pitcher, before everything got messed up for him, as talented as just about anybody, pitching wise, he was as good as Ohtani, in my opinion. Ohtani, probably with the on base percentage, maybe a little bit better offensively. Rick was a really good outfielder, though. I'd hate to have to live on the difference between the two of them, but Rick was right there talent-wise.
And I actually talked to Rick last night at the game, and he, I tell you what, he looks like he could still go out there and play.
Yeah.
I know physically he can't. I know he tried to a few years ago, but he looks like he is in game shape still today. And he looked really happy being out there yesterday.
That's awesome.
Too. So that's a good story. But I just go in Jersey. It says Dad on the back. I think I got it for first Father's Day. So I went with that. It was National Sunday the other day. So went with that. Rammer, we've gone 21 minutes. This might be our longest one. Well worth it though. Day after the Cardinals have clinched a playoff berth, but we will still be with you all season, all the rest of the postseason long, right here, giving you Daily Cards Live, presented by Mungenast, St. Louis Acura, and Royal Banks of Missouri, right here on ClaibsOnline.com.
St. Louis Acura is excited to announce the opening of our newly remodeled service lounge. We sell pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models and take pride in servicing what we sell. We offer free pickup and delivery service and a complimentary car wash and vacuum with every service. We also have a full-service reconditioning shop on site that can repair dents, bumpers, and wheels. As the nation's only 29-time Acura Precision Team winner for customer satisfaction, we work every day to make St. Louis Acura better than ever for you.